Yeah, Joe Cooper here. Benjamin Joe Cooper. Yeah, like when you're talking about the sports industry, martial arts, MMA industry, what makes a difference is not so much the steroids that you're taking, it's the skill level and the amount of training that you do. So when you are doing lots and lots of boxing and lots of MMA, it can be about strength and it can be about leverage, but mainly it's about the amount of training you've done before. And also the amount of coordination that you have. They're the main influences on my training. When people ask me what I'm taking and like what I'm training for, it would be more like like what skill level do I have, and like my other post is how to win. Is you would have to be like 75% out of 100 on everything that you do. So you don't get onto boxing or martial arts unless you're at least 75% better than everyone else. And you score like like a silver and above for boxing and martial arts because you don't want to lose. If you're a bronze for boxing or martial arts, just forget about doing that professionally. Or any sport where you can get injured, like ice hockey or gridiron, just forget about it. If you're not a silver or above, just forget about it. So when people ask me that, same with the gym's different because you don't actually have to get hurt working out in a gym. Professional bodybuilding can be natural or it can depend on steroids. Steroids are still illegal in Australia. You can go to jail for that, and you can get fines like $20,000 or $30,000. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone have been both in court and had very large fines in the last century and the last decade for taking illegal steroids. So, it doesn't really change my judgment on somebody whether they're taking steroids or not, because that's a personal choice, but they will have to deal with the legal system in Australia or America or United Kingdom. It is not safe to take steroids. There are side effects like impotency, your hair can fall out, and you get roid rage, high blood pressure, and shortened lifespan. Can look very nice. Like I would tend to say, I would only use that stuff in my older age because I've read a lot of medical journals where they would say if you're like over 60 and you have health problems like you're too much overweight or you have trouble with your energy levels and exercising, or your hormone level is low, they do prescribe hormone therapy and steroids for men, and I think some women as well. So if you'd like to take that for that reason, fine. You can medically take that with your doctor, and it can improve your life a lot as an older man. So that's a good reason to take it. It can be illegal as well, and I mean you can still be a bodybuilder in your older age if you like to. So it just depends. For myself, I'm very strong without taking anything, other than like a protein or something. I don't need to take anything, but if I would like to take something, I could take something. I've never taken any injectable steroids in my life. I have used a plant-based steroid before, which is legal in Europe and Australia. Some MMA matches are now banning things like that because it gives you more strength and gives you more size. Depends on your genetics. It affects different people differently. Some people just get more bulky. Some people get more muscle and less fat. It just depends on your DNA and your ancestry as well. Like Brock Lesnar is a part German. I'm part German. Other people are purely like a skinny ectomorph body, and other people are a large endomorph body that puts on more weight. Or the weight in between, which is like a mesomorph. So, it depends on your body type. But after looking at all the martial arts competitions, I found out that the majority of body types are either the lightweight body type So like 60 to 75 kilos, or the heavy, like a 95 to 120, or 92 to 120, that's like the majority of all the athletes in the martial arts world. That's why the ones that are like the middleweight who can get their body down to like 70 to 85 win more competitions because there's less people that they compete against. But also they have a combination of being muscly strong and also flexible and fast with kicks and punches. So myself, I can get to that weight class, or the heavy weight class, or I can just touch on the light class with extreme diets. But like it just depends on also how prepared you are to get hit harder by someone who's on the heavyweight class, and how strong you are, naturally strong, like your back is, your arms, how fast you can punch, and in the gym how much you can lift. Because I've seen people who want to go heavy because I've seen people go heavy on the gyms and the powerlifting. Personally, powerlifting to me is a lot of shit. Like, powerlifting above 120 kilos is pointless, in my opinion. 120 is a lot. 80 or 100 kilos is a lot. 80's plenty. I'm not talking about pin weights where the machine does like 60% of the work. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like free weights. If you bench press or deadlift more than 80 kilos, then obviously you're taking a lot of risk on your body. And obviously you do want to be a professional athlete, because if you don't, you're just a gym instructor, or you just like trying to get more muscly. Well, there's no point to that, because you just don't need that. See, it's on the needs analysis. I mean, do you really want to put your body through that if you're not doing it as an income stream? I mean, you could be alive for 80 years, 100 years, and you put your body through these things and it might not make it. You might have knee surgeries, you might have ankle surgeries, you might have injuries to the pec muscle here or inside the arm. I was down at the gym at Good Life last week. It's a new Good Life gym near my house, and the gym instructor's got some kind of a knee surgery on the side of his knee because he's been powerlifting. But he admitted to me that what he powerlifts is about half what the current champion's weight is in Australia, which is like about 500 or 600 kilos for deadlift, and it's about 350 kilos for bench press. For me, I've never ever lifted bench press more than 120 in my life. When I was 130 kilos, I wasn't even taking anything, just some protein. I didn't take anything. And I bench pressed 120. That's the most I've ever bench pressed in my life. It was mainly because I have a very large amount of muscle in my back and chest, and I was overweight. I was above my normal BMI weight. But when I was around 125 or 120, 115, I was more muscly and less fat. I was very strong still. So it's interesting, like you get to a certain point when your body gets stronger, but you get too much body weight on it. And if you're not a wrestler and you're a martial artist, it slows you down. So most martial artists don't go above 110 kilos. All the karate champions, kind of like the heavies, are about 110. Mike Tyson's about 110 for boxing. MMA is different because it uses leverage and you lie on the ground more, so you can be more heavy. Things like judo, you could be more heavy if you wanted to because you're lying on the ground. It's using more leverage. But, most athletes do not want to get bigger than that because there's a lot of pressure in the heart. It slows you down. If you don't have steroids or you don't have a lot of muscle around your chest and your stomach, you tend to slow down. You tend to be a slower opponent and not quite as fit. But it just depends on people's genetics. So, there's different sports. But basically that's it in a nutshell with the weight classes. Now, there's a very large amount of people like working in a gym. Everyone does, I do.